Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. It's the Fantasy Sports Boss Fantasy Football Friday. I have a jammed packed show for you today. As a matter of fact, I got to probably conserve my energy because a lot to do today. I mean, we have the to the moon, to the bench, talking about the guys who I think are good plays this week, guys who I think should be left on the bench. Going through the final injury report, Josh Palmer, game time decision that just came down from Brandon Staley. Going to go through all of that. Tyler Lockett listed as questionable. Some other big names that need to be referenced as well. And I'm going to give you my NFL picks. It was a really bad week last week. All the way around, it was just a bad week last week. I don't even want to think about week 7 from any perspective, whether it's fantasy or betting. Even 500 with the picks going into week 8. Going to aim to do better. And of course, your questions answered in the chat as usual. So again, if you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button because it does help with the channel. So right at the top, we're going to go through the injury report because, like I said, there's a lot of key names that need to be discussed today. Of course, last night the Buffalo Bills knocked off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I discussed that in the video this morning. Hey Lex, how are you? And the one thing about the Bills last night, it was a massive distribution of targets. Like Josh Allen literally spread it around to everybody. He upheld really 4 fantasy-worthy receivers. Dalton Kincaid, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. And how about Gabe Davis, the game that he had? It's usually a touchdown or bust with Gabe Davis. Last night, he threw in, a whole bunch of receptions to boot, which is a rare outing for Gabe Davis. But I think with Dawson Knox not being in the lineup, no more 2 tight ends, and they're putting Shakir in there more, and it's spreading out with his speed. He's got the speed advantage over Dawson Knox. It's separating the field a little bit more for Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and Kincaid, opening up a little more space for the Buffalo receivers, and Josh Allen was delivering, man. He was good. He got banged up. He went into the tent again. He's been making a weekly trip, it seems, to the blue tent. Came out of it okay. He's got some sort of a shoulder issue. I mean, this guy is made of concrete. I mean, he is as tough as it gets. I'm not worried about him going forward. Last year he had the elbow. This time he's got the shoulder. I'm not worried about Josh Allen going forward. Now, I have Josh Allen in one of my leagues, in my work league that I'm 6-1 in, and I'm off to a really good start because I had him and I had Mike Evans. Now, it was a quiet game until he caught that garbage time touchdown. I kind of saved the day for him. But, overall, my team looks pretty strong with Allen at quarterback. And like I said on the video this morning, Josh Allen so far has been the best investment out of the top 3, the holy trio of Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, and Josh Allen. It was very tough trying to figure out which guy to take. Hurts was number 1 among those 3 in points per game last year. He's had a little bit of an inconsistent season. His knee's a little bit of an issue. The offense is just not gelling so far. New offensive coordinator, so that could be part of the issue there. Pat Mahomes has been incredibly hot of late, but there's been some dry spells as well as they try to find a receiver to complement Travis Kelce. Could Rashee Rice be that guy? It's starting to look like it. But Josh Allen has been money in the bank all season for sure. Pick a wide receiver and flex out of Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, Tutu, Zeke, A.J. Dillon, Algier, Warren, Dotson. Not good options, Mark. I gather it's a deeper league. As far as receiver, not Tutu, just because now with Cooper Kupp around, he's sucking up a lot of the targets with Puka Nacua. I would have to say reluctantly Brandon Cooks, but I don't like any of those guys, to be honest with you. And as far as the flex, I would have to say Jaylen Warren. I mean, Jaylen Warren is getting good run, literally. And he scored a touchdown last week. He's been doing a nice job. Started running back in flex. Hi, Mark, from the list. I'm going to go with Foreman for sure. And then I would have to say Tank Dell and Flowers. You needed a running back. So Foreman, yes. Tank Dell, I have over Flowers just slightly. As a matter of fact, I think I have them right next to each other in the rankings. I think I have Dell right ahead of Flowers. I think this is a smash spot for Tank Dell. And as a matter of fact, he's one of my to the moon picks this week. Tank Dell is going to go nuts. He's got a good matchup. There's going to be no Robert Woods, who's ruled out earlier in the day today. And Dell, we've seen that he could take the top off of any defense. Had back-to-back 20-plus PPR points earlier in the season. Had the concussion that set him back a little bit, but I think he's set for a big game. If Chargers lose, Staley, first coach fired. He's the betting favorite, I think, right now, for sure. 0-7. Wow, that's rough, Haas. That's rough, man. T-Law, St. Brown, Ridley. Yeah, you got a lot of guys that just haven't fired. Ridley. I mean, Brown has been great though. Brees Hall. What can I do? Listen, man, you got to write out that team. That's not a bad team, honestly. Kincaid is coming. Your running backs look good. Ridley's killed you, and T-Law hasn't been great. I think you maybe could try to improve your your quarterback. Your tight end needs work as well. But, I mean, it sounds like you probably have a lot of points scored against you. If Palmer doesn't play, would Roschon be a good replacement? They both played a late game. Listen, Donta Foreman was so good last week that's not going away. So, and 7-0, there you go, David. That's good. I mean, we've all been chasing Roschon all year, and it just really hasn't happened. Quentin Johnson, he's the next guy up, but he has taken a long time to kind of find his footing at the NFL level. So I don't know. A game time decision is usually dicey. Most of the time, these guys don't play when it's a game time decision. Josh Palmer, I've already taken him out of my lineup. I put Tank Dell in there in his place. So, I am concerned about Josh Palmer for sure. Pickens or Devonta Smith rest of season. Devonta Smith, because I think Deontay Johnson, who we have to watch as well, he just can't get over these hamstring injuries. It's almost like he's another Kadarius Toney. I still think Devonta Smith is going to be okay. Josh Palmer's healthy. Would you flex him over Josh Downs? No. Josh Downs, I'm definitely playing over him. So, like I said, speaking of Palmer, he's got the hamstring injury. He was really good last week, right? Should have had a touchdown the week before that was called back. So Palmer's doing the job, right? But game time decision, a lot of times is, usually I would say 60-40, they don't play under such a scenario. So then Quentin Johnson logically is the next guy. I think that he's got potential, but it has taken him a long time to find his footing. Jacobs for Bijan. I think I would do that. 10-team league. Did I miss your question, Lex? Okay. My team of Travis Kelce drafted in first round and Allen in second. Yeah, man. We talked about that all summer. That's why Kelce for me was a first round pick for sure. It was a little rough start with the missed game, but he's been unbelievable. Stuck with Carr this week. Stafford's available. Go with Matthew or stay with Carr. I don't like Derek Carr. I'm going Stafford. Tim. I have much more faith in Stafford. I don't think Derek Carr is healthy. He hasn't played well. I have Osborne. He's kind of taken the backseat. Yes, he has. Should I start Osborne over Palmer? Yeah, I would, to be safe, because Palmer's got the late game. Is Olave going to see any dip in playing time? I don't know. You see, I haven't heard anything about any discipline. And, he acted like a complete asshole when he was pulled over trying to, I'm Chris Olave. I play for the Saints. And the cop was like, yeah, who cares? You reckless driving, dude. Like, nobody cares that you played for the Saints. Like, just the fact that he would say that just shows how entitled he is. I'm disappointed in Olave because I've been a fan of his, but you can't condone that kind of behavior. Like, if he would have hit somebody, he could have killed someone. Like, there was no indication that he was drinking or he had any drugs in his system, but still, just a really bad decision on his part. We start Pierce this week. He's playing the Panthers. Listen, if he can't do it against the Panthers, I don't know when he's going to do it. Tyler Lockett is questionable. No designation on Ken Walker. So anybody that's been asking me about Zach Charbonnet, no, you're not playing him because there's no designation on Walker. He's playing. He practiced today. So it looks like all systems go. Justin Fields ruled out again for the Bears. We thought initially 2 weeks for sure. It's going to be dicey, I think. And then even when he comes back with that thumb, that's tough because to grip the football, obviously the thumb is very important. And listen, he had that 2-game spurt where he was awesome, right? But Fields overall has just been very disappointing. And I truly believe he has not been anywhere near as bad as Josh Rosen. But this reminds me of the Arizona Cardinals situation when, only after 1 year of Rosen, they're like, to hell with this. We're taking Kyler Murray. And I think that's where the Bears are at with Justin Fields. I think there's just a lot of noise about Justin Fields. He's not coachable, has a little bit of an attitude problem, and is just not progressing as a passer. I mean, he can run like the wind. We all know that. But I think if the Bears have a chance to get in position to get, Caleb Williams, the North Carolina quarterback, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, those two guys in particular are really starting to rise up draft boards. I think they're going to do it. Calvin Ridley. Yeah. This is the week I think Calvin Ridley's going to do it, right? I mean, he tends to alternate weeks, so I think he's due. Kyler should sit out. I think Kyler's playing. I think Kyler Murray, he has no injury designation now. Do they activate him? They have to do it by tomorrow. I have Kyler Murray in both of my leagues. Like somebody's going to make me an offer for Kyler Murray at some point. I have Jalen Hurts in one league, who's not the most durable guy, so I might hold on to Murray in that league. But my league with Josh Allen, I'm going to listen to some offers for sure. He is listed as doubtful, Lex. I apologize, guys. I didn't think he had an injury designation. So I did miss that. Thank you, Lex, for catching that. All right, so it looks like they're going to be proactive and just have him come back next week. Cam Akers moving forward. Yeah, Alexander Mattison is just not doing the job. Like, he's been okay. We expected more. Those times where he filled in for Dalvin Cook, he was really good. But last year, he was under 4 yards per carry. It was a little disappointing for me. And Cam Akers is starting to pick up steam now, and he's starting to put pressure on Mattison. I don't think he's going to be the outright starter, but we could be looking at a 50-50 split. Njoku, Ferguson, Logan Thomas, or Kmet. I would have to say maybe Logan Thomas. Yeah, we talked about Ken Walker. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle removed from the injury report. Both of these guys are like habitual members of the injury report, right? They miss practice. They got something going on. They're not the most, their NFL bodies are just not that great. So they're always banged up. But, listen, Tyreek Hill always plays through it. And he's a small guy. You may not be a fan of his personally. Certainly I'm not, because of the shenanigans and the garbage that he was involved with earlier in his career. You'd hope he matured, but the guy plays every freaking game. All right, $4.99 super chat from Rain Young. Thank you, Rain. Happy Friday to you too. Huge question. Second wide receiver, Downs or Palmer? Josh Downs. I'm absolutely going Josh Downs. Listen, he is an explosive receiver going back to his time in college. I really liked him as a prospect coming out. He's not big, right? He can get pushed off his route. So the slot is where he does his best work. Tremendous athlete, right? And we've seen it. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's got Tank Dell ability, right? We've seen Tank Dell, who's even smaller than Josh Downs, can take the top off any defense. That's Josh Downs. We saw that last week when he caught that pass early on. He took it to the house. That's what Josh Downs is. I'm riding him this week. I have the same scenario. I have Palmer on my bench. I have Downs in the lineup on my 5-2 friends and family league. I really need to win in that league. But thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It's very generous. Ridley, D-Hop, or Thomas. D-Hop is useless without Tannehill. Now, could Will Levis get the job done? Yes. We're going to see what happens with Will Levis, but I'm not optimistic about D-Hop. So I would go Ridley slightly over Thomas. Taysom Hill mania over. Yeah, I think it's over with Juwan Johnson. It coincided with Johnson being out. Fire him up, then put in Sam Laporta. Yes, Raid, I would do that too. Where are you guys getting the Seahawks injury report? Still Sean's non-participation. I have it right here. Hold on, let me read it. Tater Toddy, I have. I just passed it. Hold on. No. All right. So Tyler Lockett hamstring, Jamal Adams knee questionable. No designation for Ken Walker or Bobby Wagner, so they're fine. That's a tweet from Brady Henderson, who is a team beat reporter. So there you have it. How much longer before I need to start looking to trade Ridley? I still have this obsession with him. I've been trying to buy low on him, believe it or not. I still believe in the talent. I'm sorry, I do. Swift or Kenneth Walker. That's a time. Let me see. Let me look at them. So, the Commanders. I have to go Swift. I mean, the Seahawks are playing the Browns. The Browns defense is legit. But Walker has been really good. Do you think Singletary will replace Pierce? I don't think he's going to replace him. I think he's going to, like the Minnesota situation, make it a 50-50 split. Do I trade Aaron Jones, Garrett, and Hawk to receive Jamar Chase and Kincaid? It's giving up a lot. Aaron Jones. So talking about Aaron Jones, I wouldn't do that deal. It's tempting because of Jamar Chase, but I think it's giving up a little bit too much. Hold on to Ridley. Week 10 Jones come back. Yeah, that's the hope about Ridley. So Aaron Jones. So he met with the media today, and he said that he feels as close to 100% as he did, but since he sustained the injury. Aaron Jones has been very frustrating. I'm an Aaron Jones owner in one of my league. I violated my rule about not drafting a running back 27 or older, and I convinced myself it would be a good investment because he was good last year, over 5 yards per carry. Didn't have the tread on the tires that some other backs had because he's been in a timeshare with A.J. Dillon. But listen, this was a serious hamstring injury that he's still not 100%. Matt LaFleur said it today. He's not 100%, and they're still going to be careful with him. Now, they're not going to fully unleash him this week, which again is fine. I think we got to get through one more week with Jones and this nonsense, and I think he's going to be okay. But it has been very, very frustrating for sure. Meyer or Njoku. With Garoppolo back, I'm going to go Meyer. Should I trade Mostert for Amon-Ra? My running back should be Bijan Hall. Yes, in that scenario, I would definitely do that trade. If you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown to me was like the season to the moon guy. I drafted him in the first round aggressively, 8th overall in my friends and family league. And let's just say I got some ridicule for that pick. Well, I got A.J. Brown in round 2 in that same league, and I'm 6-1. So who's laughing now? So yeah, I mean, I started with, and again, this is why you draft receivers early because they stay more durable. I'm 6-1 with Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown as my first 2 picks, and Josh Allen as my 3rd pick. Do you think I should trade Pierce? I don't think you can get anything for him. That's the problem. Play Gibbs over Bijan or Walker. You know what? It's a great matchup. I think I would play him over Walker. It's really good options. I mean, you know, the going against the Raiders. So here's the thing. This is what you need to know. Grind, don't stop. The Raiders are about the worst team in the NFL at defending pass receiving backs. They've given up, I believe, the most receptions to running backs in the entire NFL, or they're like 2nd and 3rd worst. They're right at the top. So 100% you put Gibbs in there. I think Walker would be the guy I would start him over because he's not 100% physically. Start Jones or Darrell Henderson. I'm starting Jones, and I have the same situation. Rashad White was used the way he should be. Rest of the season, turn a quarter. He can't run the ball. The offensive line is terrible. I still think, Charles, he's a receiving back. Nothing more. Trade DK for Aaron Jones? No. I don't want anything to do with Aaron Jones with this hamstring. Any better weather this weekend? There's going to be rain in the Northeast. I know here in New York it's supposed to rain. So the Jets-Giants game is definitely going to be impacted. And the temperature is going to drop exponentially. It's supposed to be 80 degrees here tomorrow and then 52 on Sunday. Pick a running back in a flex. Swift, Watson, Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy just fucking sucks at football. Excuse my language. I can't stand him. I'm sorry. Pick a running back in a flex. So Swift, I would say Swift as the running back in the flex. Najee. Police Sinclair, Herbert, Bellside, Roshan, and Singletary. I feel like they're taking over our spots. What should I do? I think you got to get rid of Herbert. I think, you know, I mean, Pierce has been bad, but he's still getting most of the work, at least for now. Should I trade Moss for Renfro? No. Hunter Renfro is not doing anything. You know, I wouldn't do that as well. There's no reason to own him. I have both and would start Henderson over Jones this week. Only the reason why it's hard. I mean, I have both of them. I'm still going to ride with Aaron Jones. I know they were talking about getting, you know, Myles Gaskin involved and Zach Evans. So who knows what it's going to look like. You golfing tomorrow, boss? Going to be so nice. No, I got a football game. So our final regular season game, we're 6-1. If we win tomorrow, we have the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So in our division. So, and then after that, 4 wins would give us the state title. Oh, you're welcome, Robert. No problem. Yeah, continue to listen to the stream, guys. I always appreciate all the support. Brandon Cooks has potential moving forward. No, I think Brandon Cooks is a shell of his former self athletically. Yeah, and Dak too. Dak Prescott is not the same quarterback he was a number of years ago. Played Diggs already. Picked 2, Rice, Dell, or Olave. I got to go Rice and Olave. Mayor Taysom Hill. I think I'll go Hill. I think Hill for another week. They found something that's working with Hill. Should I trade Mostert for Amon-Ra? Yes, I think I answered this already. Yeah, I would do that deal. Get Amon-Ra. You think CD's about to go off? I hope so. I have CD in one of my leagues. It just hasn't really been happening. And you're welcome, David. All right, let me finish this injury report here. All right, so let's see. Juwan Johnson, we talked about that. All right, Zach Moss is questionable. He only practiced on Thursday. So the Saints have 10 guys as questionable. So an illness has popped up. So this is probably code for COVID, right? So, it's funny. You never hear about COVID anymore in the NFL, right? I mean, COVID's not going away, right? These guys are coming down with it and they're still playing. It's not being treated like the flu. And I'm not getting into any political. We don't do politics on this channel. But it's funny that that first season, guys were, Travis Kelce missed a game. I remember Austin Eckler missed a game for me late in the season. That really fucked me over. Guys were always on the COVID list. And now, the last couple of years, you don't hear anything about it. Falcons D versus Tennessee. I don't even have to look at the rest of the responses. I'm going Falcons D. The Tennessee Titans are just a joke. And this could be a showcase game for Derrick Henry. I'm hearing conflicting reports about Henry. One side is, he doesn't want to go. The Titans want to do the right thing by him. I don't buy that. I think Derrick Henry sees the situation that he's in right now. Why wouldn't you want to move on? Now, I know Saquon Barkley said the same thing, but Saquon Barkley is not past his prime. Derrick Henry is. Henry's still an effective player, but there is no hope right now. This is a total rebuild, whereas the Giants are not a total rebuild. Any chance Henry gets traded? Yes, I have Spears in one league. I'm waiting for the moment. All the way to Halloween, I think this is going to go down to. I think Derrick Henry absolutely should be traded. And here's the other thing. So Daniel Jones, guys, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I mentioned this. I think Daniel Jones's career is in trouble. Brian Daboll today refused to answer whether Jones will return this season. This is the second time he's had a neck injury in 3 years. This is a scary injury. Giants had a running back a number of years ago. His name escapes me. It was a first-round draft pick. Anybody that remembers who I'm talking about? He was a speedy back. He only lasted for one season. I believe he had a neck injury as well, and he had to retire after his rookie year. I recall. I don't remember his name. He was really fast back. It reminds me of this situation all over again. When you deal with the neck, especially as a quarterback, and the fact that Jones still has not been cleared is very concerning. And you don't want to see this from anybody, right? You don't want anybody's career cut short. We talked about Andrew Luck a couple of weeks ago, how devastating that was to see that such an unbelievable talent have to retire because of the ravages of the game that it took on his body. It was sad, and I think we might be seeing the same thing happening with Daniel Jones right now. So Tyrod Taylor is going to start again this week. The fantasy ramifications there are that Darren Waller has a really good thing going with Tyrod Taylor. So I think it's to the moon for Darren Waller. It's not an easy matchup against the Jets. The Jets can get after it. This defense is tough, but I think that he's going to have to dump it off quickly. Keenan Williams, pass rush is solid with the Jets. Taylor can move around a little bit. He buys himself some additional time. He's more decisive than Jones. Jones sometimes takes him a little extra second to decipher what he's looking at. And Taylor's a little quicker than that. So I think that Darren Waller is going to have a good game coming up. Now, Saquon Barkley, to me, this is not the best matchup for him. Last time he played the Jets, I believe he rushed 13 times for 1 yard. And that I'm not exaggerating. That was he had 1 yard the last time he played the Jets. So, it's not the easiest matchup for him, for sure. Another quarterback that probably won't play this week, Brock Purdy, practiced for the second straight day, but he still has a clear concussion protocol. They're getting Sam Darnold ready. There is talk that he could clear it, but I think I don't recall a lot of cases this year where a guy who went into concussion protocol during the week cleared in time for the game. Okay. It's almost been an automatic game where a guy who has concussion automatically misses a game. So I don't know if Purdy's going to play. Somebody asked me about, I agree with Ayuk as the better option. Should I drop Strong for Mingo? No, I don't think so. Deontay Johnson is ready to go with his hamstring. So no issue for the hamstring there. Deontay Johnson's ready to go. We talked about Aaron Jones, says his best he's felt for a while. So that's at least good to hear. Jerome Ford is questionable for the Cleveland Browns. So, if he's out, obviously Kareem Hunt becomes a high-end running back 2. Ford plays. Hunt drops to that low-end running back 2, a borderline flex. Josh Allen sore today, but it looks like he's going to be okay. So that's the injury report right now. I don't know. Did Tyler Lockett even do anything today? Let me look. So I'm a double Tyler Lockett owner. I know Kenneth Walker, no injury designation. Let's see. So hamstring. So Lockett did return to practice today. Listed as questionable. He'll be a limited participant Friday after missing practice. His Lockett's return to practice in some capacity gives him a shot to play Sunday. So it's a 4:00 game. So I have him right now in my flex in both of my leagues. And here's the thing, guys. Ready for this? And it's October. The Kansas City Chiefs Broncos game has snow in the forecast. So snow, 82% chance of snow, high of 26. So that game is going to be fun to watch. Let me see something here. So that Chiefs Broncos game will be fun to watch in the snow. Already, we're getting a snow game. I'm curious. Yes, both of my leagues are PPR. I will not play in anything but a PPR league. I will not do that. Absolutely not do that. Chuba or Roshan Chuba. I think Chuba Hubbard is going to get the start. And I think Chuba Hubbard is going to be the better running back the rest of the way for the Carolina Panthers. Hunt, Edwards, Flowers, London, Higgins for flex. I got to go Higgins there. Roshan full go. Yeah, Roshan's a full go. But Foreman, I think, played really well. I mean, geez, he had 3 touchdowns last week. So he's going to get the benefit of the doubt and get the majority of touches, I think. And they're going to be a little cautious for Roshan. Start Rice or Javonte Williams. So now that the snow is going to be an issue, I'm wondering now if Javonte might be the better play. So we got to check the forecast. So whoever asked me about the weather, that's the weather game to watch, like snow and wind. So if there's going to be snow, I think Javonte Williams, who's starting to look more like his old self. Like the last couple of weeks, he's run the football really well. I think he's starting to show himself now in terms of getting that athletic ability back from that devastating knee injury. All right, so let's look at some of these matchups. Let's go through the games one at a time. The Jets-Giants game. So that game is going to be in the rain. So we have, off weather for that one. I think Darren Waller is the only, obviously you're starting Saquon Barkley, but now for the purpose of this exercise, I'm only talking about guys who are not automatic starters, right? Darren Waller, to me, is a good play this week for what I referenced before. I think Garrett Wilson is a good play as well. Not great. I think he's good. I mean, the weather's going to be an issue. You have Zach Wilson still in his struggles. It's not the best game from a fantasy perspective. Let's put it that way. I mean, Breece Hall, the Giant defensive line is playing really well. Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams, those are 3. That defensive line is one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Like they unleashed hell on Sam Howell last week. And I know everybody's been sacking Sam Howell, but they were really good, the Giants last week, that defensive line. All right, Dolphins, Patriots. Raheem Mostert's good to go. Tyreek Hill's good to go. Jalen Waddle. Obviously, you're throwing all your Miami Dolphins in there. As far as the Patriots are concerned, Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is a to-the-moon player. Now, Ezekiel Elliott, Stevenson's only at about 55% snap share, which is not what you want to see if you're a Stevenson owner, but he has gotten more involved in the passing game the last couple of weeks. All right. So that is very encouraging. He's had 2 very solid to good games the last 2 weeks, talking about Ramondre Stevenson. I think it's a good matchup. Dolphins defense hasn't been anything special. I know they did a decent job against DeAndre Swift last week, but I think that this is a good matchup. I think we're going to see decent results from Ramondre Stevenson, also from the sense that they're going to fall behind, obviously, and have to play catch up, throw the ball a lot. That's where Ramondre Stevenson's going to be on the field for probably the majority of the second half, catching a lot of dump off garbage time passes. So he's a to the moon for me this week. Jaguars, Steelers. So the Steelers are getting it done again. The best coach team in the NFL, hands down. Mike Tomlin is unbelievable. They're winning games. They're confident. The Jaguars, on the other hand, this offense is just not working. Doug Peterson has relinquished play calling, whereas last year he did the majority of the play calling, and we can see the difference. Like Trevor Lawrence has had one game of 20-plus points in fantasy, and it was just barely getting there last week. He's banged up. ETN's been good. Kirk has been unbelievable. We all know about the issues with Calvin Ridley. However, I think this is a good spot for Calvin Ridley. I'm going to say to the moon for Calvin Ridley this week. If it doesn't happen this week, then I think we need to have that conversation about benching Ridley. All right. If he can't get going against the Steelers this week, then we'll have that conversation next week. But I think this is a to the moon spot for Calvin Ridley. As far as the Steelers are concerned, I do like Deontay Johnson this week. He's got no designation. He's good to go. Well, he might have a designation, but he said he's fine. He's going to play. No issues with the hamstring. I think he's to the moon. I think the Steelers, again, they're probably going to fall behind, have to throw late. This team's playing confident. Kenny Pickett's still struggling, but Deontay Johnson is that short to intermediate outlet that I think Pickett will be targeting a lot. So I do like Deontay Johnson this week. Saints, Colts. Colts are home underdogs. It's always a profitable spot to be a home underdog if you're better. Saints defense is good. It's not going to be the easiest matchup for Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss may not play, but Taylor has been increasingly ramped up as the weeks have gone on. I think Josh Downs is a really good play. So Josh Downs is a to the moon for me this week. Obviously, you're playing Michael Thomas, who's, I believe, on the trade block. You're playing Chris Olave. Taysom Hill. With Juwan Johnson back, I think we need to be careful with Taysom Hill. So that's what I'm going to say about Taysom Hill. I know I get a lot of questions about him all the time. Roschon Johnson or Foreman. I would play Foreman. Cowboys, Rams. This one, 45.5 is the over-under. This has shootout written all over it. Now, I know Mike McCarthy doesn't want to do a shootout, but I think he's going to be forced to. The Cowboys defense has not played that great since losing Diggs. He took a lot of the impact from this defense away when he got injured. It's changed the whole outlook of this defense. Matthew Stafford has two of the best receivers in football at his disposal, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. They can exploit this Dallas secondary. I think both of those guys are going to have big games. I think Tony Pollard has a chance to score a touchdown. A lot of people have talked about Tony Pollard as well. It hasn't been the best season for him. Now, I think he's been good, right? But not the late first round pick and the value that we expected having drafted him, right? As far as my dogs, Rams, the Rams are a good bet. I do like the Rams this week, the 6.5. I do like that bet. Flex DeMarcado, Watson, Charbonnet, if no Walker. Walker is going to play Eddie. Or Tank Dell. Tank Dell, easy. Don't kill me, but it's for Rashad White, a must start. Yes, I think he is. In a PPR league, not in a standard. No problem, Jermaine. So next game, Texans, Panthers. Tank Dell, like I said at the start, he is a to-the-moon player. No Robert Woods, no Nico Collins. He's really good as well. Even the Panthers, we know Adam Thielen is going to go crazy. This is a good matchup for him as well. I think Chuba Hubbard is a flex play. They're not happy with Miles Sanders. As a matter of fact, he's been so bad that I think that there's going to be conversations of maybe cutting him after the season. I don't know what the contract situation looks like, but Miles Sanders has been so bad that now Chuba Hubbard, who played well, prior to the bye last week, he played well. He had a good outing PPR wise, and he's begging for more touches. So I think Chuba Hubbard is a flex play this week. Falcons, Titans. This is the ugliest game on the slate. The over under is 35.5. Like, you couldn't pay me to watch this game. I'm not wasting any more oxygen on the Atlanta Falcons. We all know the situation. They absolutely should have been investigated, and they are still being investigated for the Bijan Robinson bullshit. And I got to hand it to FanDuel. I think it was FanDuel or DraftKings that refunded the parlays with Bijan Robinson, because that was complete bullshit what went on there. Arthur Smith tried to pull a fast one. He knew he was sick the night before, didn't say anything. They should get fined. I don't know if losing a draft pick is part, that might be a little harsh, but the organization should be fine. That was complete Bush League. Nobody knew about it. They said Bijan's fine, but you can't take anything for granted with the Falcons. That's the problem. And again, could you imagine if you had an offensive-minded coach? If Andy Reid coached this team, they would be the greatest show on turf. the Atlanta Falcons. He'd bring in a quarterback, and they would put up insane numbers. I mean, this offense is loaded. They're the envy of the majority of teams in the NFL, but they don't have a quarterback, and they have a dumbass coach who just wants to live in the 1980s and just run it. Who's more to the moon, Dell or Downs? I'm going to say Dell slightly. I should have used my waiver claim on Kincaid. Yeah, I tried to get him. I did not get Kincaid. That one seemed obvious. You knew they were going to throw to him in the red zone. Who won this trade? Half PPR. Waddle, Fields, Gibson for Mostert, Najee. I would say the Mostert, Najee. Yeah, chill. I'm trying to chill. That was garbage. I'm sorry. It really was. I have Kincaid, 10-team league, drop Pitts for Chuba. I mean, if you have Kincaid, yeah, I guess so. We keep waiting on Pitts. We're going to wait forever. Pollard and Bijan running back don't need positions. Yeah, I would do that. Akers and Dalvin available too. Don't bother with Dalvin Cook. Actually, they might even trade him. There was an article in the local paper today about the Jets might be listening on Dalvin Cook. I mean, they have Michael Carter, who can't do any worse than Dalvin Cook right now. TJ Hawkinson, and now Hawkinson's going to be okay, guys. So I know he had an injury designation as well. He's going to be okay. TJ Hawkinson or Edwards, definitely Hawkinson. Dobbs and Jameson Williams. I've seen enough with the Packers. I really have. Jordan Love's playing awful. I would have to go Jameson Williams. And I'm not really big on him either. He's been so inconsistent. Seahawks, Browns. The Browns, they got torched last week. They absolutely got torched last week. So, it was ugly, that defense. They really should have lost that game. The Colts absolutely got hosed. Bad call at the end. The Seahawks, Kenneth Walker's not 100%. This might be a tough matchup for him. Amari Cooper, he's a boomer bust now. He's a wide receiver 3 with PJ Walker at quarterback. It's become a fiasco with Deshaun Watson. Jerome Ford, if he plays, both him and Kareem Hunt drop to flex, low end running back 2 status. I'm not thrilled with the matchup. Tyler Lockett, you're still going to play him. If DK Metcalf and Lockett are both active, then JSN, borderline flex for me there. So you have Josh Downs to the moon against the Saints. I don't have him to the moon. I think he's going to be a solid option. I have Tank Dell to the moon. Foreman or Roshan, I'm going Foreman slightly because, again, he's coming off a huge game. They're not just going to be all right, Foreman did, 3 touchdowns. Now let's just let Rashawn Johnson go crazy. No, they're going to give Foreman the benefit of the doubt. Could you please name one QB running back to stash before the trade deadline? The running back to stash is Tajay Spears. That's the easy call there. Tight end. I mean, that tight end's hard. I mean, I don't see anybody, I don't see anybody really that could be traded that would be worth stashing. Do the Broncos trade Greg Dulcich? That could happen. Trey McBride, you could stash him. I don't know if Zach Ertz is going to be ready in time. He's on IR. And as far as quarterback stash, that's hard too. Does Will Levis, and Will Levis could run. Does Will Levis maybe stash him to see what he does? He's got the ability to pick up yards on the ground. He's got a cannon. So maybe that would be my answer there. I feel like he'll do good. He said, let's go with him over Josh Palmer. So yeah, Josh Palmer, we can't take, we can't be certain he's going to play. People, my leader did last one, we could play out. So no one else said it. Yeah. They could get, I hate leagues that don't trade. That's tough. But I think as the deadline approaches, then you can maybe talk somebody into it. You got to ambulance chase. That's the thing. When somebody loses a player, you have to go after that team and make a trade. Be like, oh, I saw you lost a running back. Here's a running back I have. Let's make a deal. Jerome Ford news came out of nowhere. Is he healing like Wolverine? Yeah, I think he might be able to shoot up this weekend. So that's gonna, put a little bit of a hurting on Kareem Hunt. 0 trades. That's a boring league, Steve. Who do you start, Henderson or Elliott? Henderson. All right, Chiefs, Broncos. We got snow in the forecast. So I still think Rashee Rice is here to stay. I've been ride or die Rashee Rice. All season I've been telling you Rashee Rice. All right, him and Tajay Spears. I think I've said more about those 2 guys than anybody else. And we've seen what's going on with Rashee Rice. He's in the circle of trust with Pat Mahomes, and it's only going to grow from here. He's been a red zone target as well. When Kelsey, who's the first read, is not there, then they're going to Rashee Rice, and it's working out nicely. As far as the Broncos, Javonte Williams is still worth starting. Like, he's playing better. He's running the ball better. He's feeling more comfortable. He looks like he's starting to shake off the rust. Cortland Sutton, you're going to play. Jerry Jeudy, I'm not playing, especially in the snow. And it'll be interesting to see which guy gets traded. I think it's going to be either Sutton or Jeudy. We got to see what happens here. And make the move for Marvin Mims. That's a wide receiver stash, Marvin Mims. 49ers, Bengals is going to be Darnold. Is going to be Purdy. This would have been a couple of weeks ago. This looked like a great matchup. 49ers are skidding right now. They can't keep anybody healthy. Debo's not playing. We know about George Kittle's injury history, Christian McCaffrey. Like, all of their key guys are amongst the most injury-prone players at their positions in the game. Now, Brock Purdy's got the concussion. Does he clear it in time? He could. Sam Darnold gets in there. I don't have any faith in him. Brandon Ayuk will get a lot of work, so he's absolutely to the moon. For the Bengals, T. Higgins, do we trust him? He's had literally one good game the whole season. So disappointing. I don't know if the contract is like getting into his head. If he's getting disappointed, I don't know. But Higgins has been bad. But you're committed to him, so you're starting. The Ravens, Cardinals, like Lamar Jackson, like 5 total touchdowns last week. He's going to go crazy in this one as well. It's going to get out of hand quick. Josh Dobbs is going to start once more. They lost Zach Ertz. I think Trey McBride is somebody who could do some work in garbage time. If you're looking for a tight end, Trey McBride is worth the pickup. Caught a lot of passes, 90-plus passes, I believe, his final year at Colorado State. So he's a good play. I like him as this week as a tight end if you need one. Marquise Brown, the last couple of weeks have been bad. However, I do stand by the notion of buying low. Like, this is the last week you're going to get a chance to buy Marquise Brown low, because once Kyler Murray is back, those guys made sweet fantasy music the beginning of last year. I mean, the targets were insane for Marquise Brown. He was an absolute wide receiver 1 while Hopkins was out. That's going to happen again. So go buy Marquise Brown now. Hey, Birdman, how are you? What's your opinion on leagues that league trades up for 3 days? We don't do league. All trades go in both of my leagues. We trust everybody in our leagues. We've had nary an issue where, anybody thought there was any collusion. Don't veto trades. I think vetoing trades is in bad form. If you're in a league where there's collusion going on, then you have to leave the league. Like, it's just as simple as that. I don't veto any trades because, again, I trust the people that are making the deals. So I'm not going to do that. Taysom Hill or Parham, I'm going Taysom Hill. And the Cardinals, they got to get the Chargers, they got to get their heads out of their ass. I'm sorry. Play 3, Waddle, Lamb, Ayuk, Rice, Myers. Wow, that's a tough one. I'm going Lamb because there's going to be a lot of points in that one. I'm going to go Ayuk. I'm going to go Myers. I'm going to have to sit Rice because of the snow, and Waddle, he hasn't, the numbers haven't exactly been jumping off the page there. Chargers, Bears. Speaking of Chargers, this is just an awful Sunday night game. Tyson Bagent on Sunday Night Football. We can't flex this game. Come on. Get well spot for Austin Eckler. I know the last couple of weeks have been bad. It's a get well spot for him. I don't think Josh Palmer's playing. I wouldn't use Quentin Johnson. Justin Herbert, same thing. He's got to get his season going. This team is taking a step back everywhere. Like, the defense, the run defense has actually been good. The rest of the defense, not so much. Keenan Allen has struggled since Mike Williams went out. That we can see that. It's just a mess. Brandon Staley's got to go. That's just the bottom line. McBride or Meyer? I would go McBride. All right. And then finally, Lions, Raiders. So it's a big spread for the Lions, 8.5, but they do their best work at home, and the Raiders defense is not going to do anything to stop them. Ross St. Brown can name his numbers this week. Sam Laporta, same thing. He's going to have a big game. And here's the thing with Jahmyr Gibbs. If he balls out again for the second week in a row, we could have a scenario where David Montgomery comes back and it's now a 50-50 split. Like, I know they love Montgomery, and Montgomery was playing well before he got hurt, but if you're a Montgomery owner, this is something we got to pay attention to because it could get a little bit frustrating going forward because, if Gibbs, we've seen this a million times. Guys get hurt. Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, perfect example. A guy gets hurt, the replacement comes in, plays great, and then hits his job. All right. What won't happen? Is it about Staley, the team turning it around? I tend to believe you if that's what you're saying. Kevin Byard. So you play the individual defensive players. I haven't done one of those in years. I'm not a fan of that, but I think he's going to be fine. I mean, he's a good player. The Eagles are going to know what to do with him. So I think it's a good move for the Eagles for sure. And they always make the good move, the Eagles. And I can't stand the Eagles as a Giants fan. But listen, that is one of the best run organizations in the entire NFL, hands down. I mean, and how bad are talking about a bad organization? The Commanders have already benched Emmanuel Forbes when they could have had Deonte Banks, who's playing great as a rookie for the Giants. Deonte Banks is the real deal for the Giants. He's been playing great at corner. Yeah, they do. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right because I have David Montgomery, Deontay Downs or Pierce, not Pierce, Polumsky. So I would still go Downs. With CJ, yeah, they lost a lot of people last year for sure. All right, so NFL picks. I'm at the exact 500 mark. Had a horrible 1-4 week last week. 500 on the season. So yeah, last week was not good. It's no excuse about that one. So 17-1 on the year. Got to do better this week. I said it earlier. I like the Rams getting 6.5 from the Cowboys. This is a lot of points for the Cowboys, especially with the defense not playing great. So I saw this one early on. It jumped off the page for me. I like the Rams here getting the 6.5 against Dallas. Say it ain't so. I like the Jets over the Giants giving 3. And I'm a Giants fan, so this is me being real with you guys, right? I think the Jets match up really well with the Giants. Tyrod Taylor having to throw with DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner back. They both clear concussion protocol after missing last week's game. DJ Reed actually has missed 2 games. Keenan Williams up front. The Giants' offensive line is awful. I think it's going to be a long day for the Giants. I like the Jets giving 3 to the Giants. Technically a Giants home game, but give me the Jets there. I'm going to leave the Chiefs-Broncos game alone because of the snow. I don't like betting into games where there's ill weather. I do. This looks like a trap game. I don't know if I should talk. I tell you what, I do like the Colts as home dogs getting 1 against the Saints. This is a well-coached team. Home underdogs. Derek Carr's not playing great. So give me the Colts +1 over the Saints. I like that one. I like the Patriots +9.5 against the Dolphins. So Bill Belichick knows what he's doing containing Tyreek Hill. It was a 24-17 meeting. Last time around, Belichick has a long history of doing well against Tyreek Hill. So Deebo Samuel ruled out. Brock Purdy ruled questionable. I think the Patriots are going to hang tough in this one. And it's almost like the 9.5, the Vegas is begging people to take the Dolphins. So I do like the Patriots there. So what is that? 1, 2, that's 4 picks. Man, this Ravens game. It feels like a trap to me, this Ravens game. I'm going to leave that one alone. And then finally, and this Falcons-Titans game. So the Falcons are on the road giving 2.5 to the Titans. Can't you just see the Titans pulling this out somehow? I'm going to leave that one alone as well. I hate taking home under. I'm stuck on this last pick. I don't know which one. I have two that I'm deciding between. All right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to say Vikings 1.5 to the Packers. Now, the Packers home underdogs. I do think the Vikings, they're playing confidently now. They've won 2 games in a row. It is a little bit of a letdown spot and a get-well spot for the Packers. But I think the Vikings are a better team. I think they're starting to get some cohesion. Cam Akers is doing his thing. Jordan Addison, they're really clicking offensively. The Packers, meanwhile, their offense is in the toilet. They're just not playing well. I don't know if they can hang close enough. So give me the Vikings in that one. Where would Cook go if he gets traded? Is he worth the stash? He looks shot to me, Polomsky. He's available in one of my leagues. I'm not picking him up. Even if he ends up somewhere, he looks like he's done. He does. Best streaming defense this week. I already gave that to you. The Atlanta Falcons against the Tennessee Titans, for sure. Absolutely the Atlanta Falcons. I was going to say something else and I forgot now. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. Now Sunday, do we have it? We don't have it. Do we have a early game this Sunday? No, we don't, right? I know that there's I think it's next week where we have the early, where they go to Germany. I mean, there's so many of these games now that are on, and I hate the 9:30 in the morning games. I know, like, oh, it's cool. We got football the entire day, but anybody that's got kids knows it just doesn't work, right? When my kids were a little younger, the 9:30 game was a complete throwout. I've said this a million times. Dads, right? You get up early Sunday with the kids, make them breakfast, fold the laundry, clean the dishes, load the dishwasher, vacuum, make lunch ahead of time. Don't make the wife do anything. Let her sleep in, right? Maybe make her breakfast. And then when 1 o'clock comes around, you have the reason to say, okay, honey, I'm going to go watch football at 1 o'clock because you did everything leading up to it, right? So that's how I've always played it. I've always done that. So 9:30 games, I might have it on in the background. Never been keen on that. Usually my kids sometimes have had sporting events in the morning on Sundays. Yeah, honey, I'll drive them and I'll pick them up too. I'll stay the whole time. Then you come home before 1 o'clock. All right, I'm going to watch some football. Okay, dear. And usually, mostly it's work. My wife's good. When I met her, and I actually literally told this to her, I said, listen, Sunday in general, devoted to football. And she knew early on and has never given me a hard time. But I'm fair. Like college football, again, when my kids were younger, college football Saturday, no, that wasn't happening either. When the kids went to bed and I'd watch like the late games. But you couldn't get both. Like if you got little kids, you can't do Saturday and Sunday. You just got to pick one, right? You like college football more, you like the NFL more. That's, I would sacrifice college football Saturday. Now my kids are older. My son's 14. My daughter's 11. So now I can do both. I coach football mostly on Friday nights. Don't have a game tonight. We have one tomorrow. College football Saturday. That's usually also, if I don't have a game Saturday, that's when you take your wife out, right? You go to movies or something. That's still true to this day. But Sunday, gotta watch the NFL. Trade of Mixon for Montgomery. Your thoughts? I think you asked me this, Jesse. I got back to you on this one. I know you have Gibbs. I'd rather you have had Mixon, to be honest with you. I know Mixon is nothing to write home about. Like he looks like he's well on the back nine of his career, but the workload is guaranteed. Now you're going to have to fight with the situation when Montgomery comes back. Which one do I go with? Or do you just roll with both? I don't think that's ideal, right? It was never profitable to go with both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. That could get frustrating. Now the Lions do rely on the running backs a lot, so there's no doubt about that. But I'd rather have Mixon just to break up that duo. Start Roschon Warren or Jeff Wilson. Warren. Jeff, I was frustrating last week. He had one catch for 4 yards and that was it. Salvon Ahmed ahead of him on the depth chart, at least for now. I think Jeff Wilson, is going to get more work as we go forward. But, for now, I think that the better option is for you in that situation, Jaylen Warren, because he's getting about 50% of the snaps. Would you trade Walker for Chase in a half PPR? Get Amon-Ra, Diggs, ETN, Brees, Pittman, Flowers, Spears. I mean, you got a lot of receivers already. I don't think you need Chase. I get your. I mean, how the heck did you end up with all three of those guys? You got to hope nothing happens to ETN or Brees, and both of those guys are injury prone. So, but I mean, Chase is so good. I think I might do it actually. Now that I look at it. To have Chase with Amon-Ra and Diggs, yeah, I think I would. But then you're gonna have to trade Flowers or Pittman to get another running back. I'll trade and Gibbs. Yeah, that's how I would handle that, Jesse. To be honest with you, for sure. All right, so that was that. All right, guys, I think we're at the end of the line here. So 1 hour stream tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chats. Thank you for all the support as always. Good stream tonight. Good football Friday. So again, no stream tomorrow, which is Saturday as always, but Sunday will be the big day. Hey Arthur, how are you? Have Tyler Michael Mayer, keep him, or get Ferguson, Hill, and McBride? You can keep him. Now that Garoppolo is back, I think you can keep him. But anyway, as far as Sunday is concerned, the usual bit, right? I'm going to do the morning stream, injury update videos throughout the course of the day, and then the wrap up at the end of the night. I got a 6-1 team and a 5-2 team that's lost 2 in a row. Yeah, Birdman, you can always go back and watch the beginning of it when we jump off. But I'm hoping to end my 2-game losing streak in my friends and family league, which is not looking so good, but we'll have to see. Hey, this is what happens in fantasy, right? I mean, each week brings its own set of challenges and issues that go along with it. All right, guys. So enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch up with you on Sunday. Take care, guys.